We have our awesome RGB illuminated dragon right there. Yes, that's not just reflecting off the fan, it actually has its own RGB. Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the MSI MPG Z690 Carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. I did receive this product from MSI to review, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product, you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. You can see the really nice retail box and packaging right here. Check it out. They walk you through a lot of key tech specs on the back side. This is an Intel motherboard supporting LGA 1700 for our 12th gen Intel CPUs, DDR5 support, and you may see front and center Lightning Gen 5, but this is still compatible with PCIe 4.0 devices. We have Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2, and 2.5 gig LAN. We also have USB 20 gigs, so that's the latest USB 3.2 Gen 2x2. I know that's quite a mouthful there, but that supports up to 20 gigabits per second. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. Here are all the contents. As you can see, MSI gives us so many goodies right out of the box. First up, we have all of our product literature right here with the quick start guide and our full user guide and manual, walking us through everything we need to know about our motherboard. Very detailed, thorough, all the tech specs and information that you need right at your fingertips. Next, you can see we have some nice labels and some MPG stickers, followed by our nice MSI badge. Then we have our MSI branded cleaning tool. We have an MSI USB flash drive. We also have a nice keychain branded for MSI with a Phillips head and flathead screwdriver on them. Then you may notice we have our M.2 lockers right there, followed by some additional cables. We got a data cable and then a couple of different RGB cables right here. Then up at the top, we have our Wi-Fi adapter, so you can see our antenna and our nice stand for it. And last but not least, we have our motherboard. Now let's go ahead, let's look at that in more detail. Here's a look at the board up close. Check it out. Everything looks great. Front and center, our LGA 1700 socket for Intel 12th gen. DDR5, we got 4 DIMM slots right there. 3 expansion slots. The first 2 are going to be Lightning Gen 5. The last one is going to be PCIe 3.0. Underneath all the heat sinks and shields you see right here, we actually have 5. Yes, 5 M.2 slots, 4 of which are PCIe 4.0, and then the last remaining one is going to be PCIe 3.0. Check out this beautiful design that we got. It just looks so nice with the carbon, the MSI, their dragon, and MPG branding up there. We'll look at it from all different sides and angles, so you can see tons of USB ports, 2.5 gig LAN, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2, USB Type-C. We have our DisplayPort and HDMI. If you have integrated graphics with your CPU, you can see a lot of our connection options right here with our headers, and we'll just keep rotating around so you can see all different sides and angles. Here it is from the back side as well. Everything looks really nice, and we'll flip it back over and show you a close-up again of all the edges so you can see everything this board has. USB Type-C, USB 3.0 headers, a lot of RGB and fan options as well too. Now let's go ahead, let's take the cover off and look at the 5 M.2 slots. So here we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M.2 slots, 4 of which, the 4 that you see right here, are all PCIe 4.0 compatible. And then our last slot, which is labeled M.2 4, this is gonna be PCIe 3.0. Look at that. Amazing that we have this much storage for this board. I want to point out too, you can see a couple of these options also have the toolless installation, which is great. And then the other 2, you have to use the included screws. So much potential with this board. If you have a lot of stuff that you need really fast read and write speeds that you want to enable in your build, you'll appreciate having that space. Or what I really like too is, say you use this for a couple of years and then you phase it out because you want to get the latest and greatest at that time. This would make a fantastic DIY NAS and home server with all of those storage options, especially as the M.2 pricing of those drives will be even more affordable than they are today. You'll make a fantastic solid state server. Now you can see we got our motherboard installed right here on our PC. Everything looks great, and most importantly, it's working great. Let's go ahead, let's look at the board up close. All right, so check out the MSI board up close and personal right here. So first up, you may notice we have our awesome RGB illuminated dragon right there. Yes, That's not just reflecting off the fan. It actually has its own RGB, as you can see right there. Up at the top, you can see we have our CPU power cables connected. Moving along, we have some of our fans and CPU cooler connected right there. We have our nice real-time display giving us feedback on our system, which is awesome. Same with our illuminated LED lights down here, walking us through our post. Then we have our main board power connector, followed by our USB 3.0 and USB Type-C, tucked in down there. And then moving along, you can see we have our MSI RTX 3070 Ti connected with our power supply cables right there. Moving further down at the bottom, you may notice we have beautiful RGB on the Carbon logo too. And some of our additional connectors, so you can see our front panel. We have our fan power right there for our hub on the back. We have some USB connectors right there. And then all the way down the other side, we have our HD audio, you can see. So the board's really nice. Everything looks so good. Now let's go ahead, let's look at the BIOS settings. So now you can see we're in BIOS. I'm not gonna go over each individual setting, but I do wanna show you everything that you can configure within easy mode and advanced. So front and center, this is gonna be like the main home screen and dashboard you're gonna be at. You can see our CPU speed, our DDR speed. We have some more of our system specs right here. We do have two 16 gigabyte sticks, so 32 gigabytes of RAM total. DDR5 as well, you may notice that speed right here. Here's our XMP profile, so if you do have RAM that you're gonna overclock or you wanna take advantage of the advertised speeds, chances are you'll have to enable the XMP profile. That's as simple as just clicking the one right here. Make sure that the box is red and exit and you're all set and ready to go. Be sure to save when you exit, I should say. You can see our easy mode options right here. We have CPU, so check that out. You can learn more about the CPU. We have our memory. You can see the two 16 gigabyte sticks. Interesting that it's actually Samsung memory, which is cool. It is Corsair RAM. There's our profile that we have for it with our timings. Here's our storage. You can see we have one MSI M480 2 terabyte drive with 2000 gigabytes usable. We have our fan info right here. So our CPU and pump fan and our system fan, we can browse all those settings. We have a help section. Then you can see we have some additional options down here. We have M-Flash, favorites, and our hardware monitor. So you can see what happens when we select those. So here's our hardware monitor. You can browse the different settings as you so choose. We'll just click through some of them right here. You can see our different fan control options, where we have everything connected. So you can see that. About and help at the top, we can exit to go back to if we want. So that's easy mode. Now let's look at advanced mode. You can see advanced mode is up at the top, or F7, so let's go ahead and check that out. So you may notice in advanced mode, it looks very similar to the dashboard for easy mode. We just have our MPG logo and branding front and center, and we have 6 different options we can choose from. So first up, we have our motherboard settings, so you can view your system status right here. We have our advanced settings, depending on what you're after to change. You can see those options. Next, we have our boot settings. You can configure your boot if you want fast boot, MSI fast boot, and you can see our boot order. We also have our priority up here. You may notice you can change. Then you can see we have our security options, followed by our save and exit. Then our overclocking settings. So check this out. We'll start at the top. You can see we have different modes, so normal or expert, depending on what you're after. Expert's going to give you all the options and capabilities. So our CPU settings, our RAM options, our voltage settings right here that you can tweak. And then you can see we have our other settings right here at the bottom. Next up, we have use USB to flash BIOS. If you need to enable M-Flash, you can use that software right there. Next, we have our overclocking profiles, so you can save your profiles right there and load them as needed. And then we have our hardware monitor, and if you want to give beta runner a try, you can. So if we select hardware monitor, that's going to take us right back into what we looked at earlier in easy mode. And then if you want to go back to easy mode, You can do that right here. Very simple and straightforward. And then you can just exit out of the BIOS as needed. Just be sure to save or not save as needed. Now we're looking at MSI Center on this board, so check it out. We have it installed on our Windows 10 PC. You can see we have some quick hardware monitoring right here with our CPU frequency, our GPU core clock. We also have our temps for our CPU, and we can monitor our GPU usage. Then on the right side, you can see we have our memory right here, showing all of our different voltages. And you can see towards the bottom, we have some of our fan settings. You can see the RPMs, as well as the temperature of our RAM. Next up, under the Features tab, you can see we have installed Mystic Light to control all the RGB. This board does have RGB on it, so you can see our different components showing up right here. We could do our RAM or our motherboard. You can choose which LEDs you want to control, or select all of them. And then you can choose different styles right here. They have so many options. So it's going to be for the Dragon logo and the Carbon logo towards the bottom under your GPU. So we got Rainbow. That's what we're looking at right now. Next up we have Flame, and you can see we can adjust some of the settings here. But Flame looks pretty cool. Kind of got that candle vibe going. You can pick your colors. Let's keep looking. We got Meteor. We'll sample all these really quickly, so you can see what Meteor looks like right there. Oh, I like that. So just pick the one that matches the theme to your build. Here's Stack. Let's go ahead. Let's do Stack. All right, that's pretty cool as the color fills in, true to its name. Then we have our Breathing. And again, you can choose individual color by value or using the color wheel. So you can see the breathing there. Then we have Flashing. Let's go ahead. Let's apply Flashing. That's pretty cool. All right, next up we have Steady. So you can see our steady light right there. Then we have Lightning. That's pretty cool. I like it. It's kind of got the backlight strobe to it. Then we have our CPU temp right here, so you can see we can adjust the settings to be reminded of what we want, green, blue, or red. I love that feature. And we got Concert. All right, so here we go. Concert. Nothing's happening right now. Might be tied to a game or some audio. That's my guess. Maybe same with music. We'll see here. So now we have music applied. That's cool if it's smart enough to do that. Recreation. So you can see that effect. Again, not seeing anything for that either. Coloring. So now we have some more colors again. They have so many effects. Planetary. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. If you can, probably can't see it with the Carbon, but it looks really good with the Carbon. Double Meteor. Bring those meteor showers, baby. Energy. Very fast with that style. Clock. All right, you can see the clock style. Color pulse. All right, so it's pulsing through different colors. Then we have color shift. So you get the idea here. There are so many different styles you can choose from depending on maybe the time of day, the mood you're in, the theme you're going for with the build, or maybe the game that you're playing. You can do it on a case-by-case basis. Here's our visor. And if you can see the Carbon in your build down here without your GPU or support bracket blocking it, it's really cool that we have some RGB down there. Here's Rainbow double flashing. But worst case, you'll be able to have the Dragon to showcase on your build. Weather. We're getting towards the end. Here we go. Mixer. Our last style. Oh, I like the mixer. That looks great. And let's go back to Rainbow, my personal favorite. So you can see all the different RGB LED options we have within the MSI Center and Mystic Light for this motherboard. Now let's talk about this motherboard and its M.2 performance. Keep in mind, there's PCIe 3.0 drives and 4.0 drives. They're all compatible with this board. If you choose a 4.0 drive, you'll be getting the fastest speeds possible, but it'll still vary depending on manufacturer. So in this case, you can see the drive we're using, the MSI Spatium M480 M.2 drive. They advertise up to 7,000 megabytes per second for our read speeds. You can see we almost got that result here with Crystal Disk Mark. We came so close. We got 6,900 megabytes per second for our read and 6,600 megabytes per second for our write. I tried it out again using ASSSD. This one typically is always lower compared to Crystal Disk Mark, and that held true in this case too. 4,900 for our read and 5,300 for our write. And lastly, you can see we got the Black Magic test right here, showing 5,000 megabytes per second for our write and 4,400 megabytes per second for our read. And you can see a couple of different options right here for video files for you. If you have RAW or ProRes or 265, you can see those read and write speeds as well. So now let me share with you my final thoughts in regards to the MSI Z690 Carbon Wi-Fi motherboard. This is the future and it's here now. It's jam-packed full of a lot of great features and the longevity should last you for years to come. Chances are you'll want a new CPU, GPU, DDR10, you know, whatever it may be before this motherboard would ever fail you or anything like that. I've been using MSI motherboards for years now with zero issues. My primary 100+ terabyte server uses an MSI board. My main filming, streaming, content creating PC also uses an MSI motherboard. That thing's been running 24/7 for years, filming and streaming terabytes of data. I've had zero issues. And guess what? It's still so fast. It's jam-packed full of a lot of great features. I don't even feel a desire or need to upgrade. So in the off chance you ever feel that desire in the future because you want access to DDR10, the newest CPU, GPUs, whatever it may be, this board is still super practical. Having those 5 M.2 slots gives you a fantastic end of life for your PC build. It can become your own home server. Having